Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Didn't mean to start your morning like that. I was going through all of my pictures of Harmony and trying to put everything together, sense of what we had here yesterday. I didn't go live yesterday. I'll go back. I'll go back. Is that any better? Any better? There's a lag because from when I ask, okay, yes, yes, yes. All right, so I got back out. All right. Oh, it is Tuesday, October 25th. I can't believe we're almost into November. So I was just going through pictures, different clips, and all kinds of things that I've collected, over the months since we started talking about Harmony Montgomery back in January of this year. Collectively, minds were blown when we found out that she had been missing for over 2 years. We were all together when I'm going to try to get through this without crying. I've been a mess, okay? We were all together when they made the announcement that they had evidence that, which we can only assume, comes from the apartment on Union Street. That's this picture right there. It's all adding up after the press conference yesterday. I put the press conference on the channel, but I didn't want to just jump in and do a live. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I was way too upset. Susan has been, that's just me. She has been so attached to Harmony, this case and everything. I called her, she could barely talk. I told her this morning, I said, you might want to miss like the first 10 minutes of the show because I already knew that I was going to play a video of Harmony. So we got through that and it's horrific. It's awful. I think about when the officers doing the interrogation kept saying to Teardrop, and I'm not trying to be cute and I'm not trying to be funny. I don't want to offend anybody named Adam. It's a very nice name and he doesn't deserve to have that name. So when I call him Teardrop, there's a reason. He's a piece of shit. Okay? Now then, when they were interrogating him and they said, we don't want you to come across as a monster. They're playing good cop, bad cop with him. Well, he is a monster. He beat her in the head till she died. The details, the devil is in the details. The date, December 7th, 2019. That tells me a lot when I think back. I was thinking deep about this morning. When I think back to the interview from Stepmeth's mom, she said something happened after November 30th. There was a lot of commotion going on between November 30th and, as we know now, December 7th. On or about means it happened on that day. They have to leave it open in case Stepmeth says, no, I would say it was probably on the 6th. Or maybe it was on the 8th. They've got it pinned down to that point. I can only assume that they've gotten a lot of cellular data back. I wouldn't be surprised if they haven't cut a deal with her for keeping quiet. That seems to be one of the charges. We're going to get through all of it. Though. You guys have all stuck around. Not everybody did. When I first started the case, mind you, law enforcement was 2 years behind. She had been missing. No one was looking for her for over 2 years. We started talking about little Harmony in January, and I got very defensive with several people. Some have come back, some went away forever. And they were just saying, go ahead and charge him with murder. Can't do that. You got to have proof. Even if you feel it in your gut, you just can't do it. Feelings and guts don't win over juries. The police aren't doing anything. They don't want Harmony found. Well, I saw a grown man, a chief, that almost crumbled yesterday. He was so upset having to give us the news of what teardrop this monster did. Y'all's daughter said, so unreal. No grands looking for her. No. And that has been something that we have talked about. It's one thing to have one POS in your life. Harmony was surrounded by them. 2019, December 7th, 2019, just a few weeks after that was Christmas. Not one grandparent, aunt, uncle, her own mother said, did Harmony like what I sent? Can I get a picture of Harmony in that little dress I sent her? Did everything I send fit her okay? I know you guys are really busy cleaning up from Christmas and everything, but can I have just one picture? Nothing. 2 years goes by. Jameson, her brother, saved her. Jameson is screaming bloody murder, looking for his sister. Couldn't sleep. I want Harmony. I want Harmony. I want Harmony. I want Harmony. He had been adopted, has been adopted, still adopted by 2 gentlemen. I believe one's a meteorologist in Boston and the other's an attorney in DC. They start reaching out. Of course, you're not going to get any help from Teardrop. He doesn't care. Can we send her presents? How do we get them together? He misses his sister. Jameson sounds the alarm. So now Crystal will take credit for all of it. She's not going to get away with it here because she's lied way too much. She's lied way too much. Jameson is the one that rang all the bells and got people looking for Harmony Montgomery. She still has not been found. Still has not been found. I don't know that they'll ever find her. It seems to me that with whatever information, like I said, the devil's in the details, the information that was handed to the police, given to the police, they can't just take Kayla's word, so they obviously have been able to prove this. They just don't have Harmony. The reason I believe Stepmeth finally spoke, made a deal, was promised immunity for her welfare charges or whatever else she's got going on. She's got a lot of stuff going on. Is because of the details. They can't do an autopsy on Harmony. They don't have Harmony. Jameson wasn't there. Her children were with her mother at the time. I'm looking at the timeline of December 7th. December 7th. Her mother said they were living in the car. The grandkids, Kayla's kids, were with her. She believed that Harmony was with Crystal in Massachusetts. Well, we know that didn't happen. So December 7th, we have a date and we have horrific details. He beat her with a closed fist in the head till she died. It's disgusting. So as you remember, the first few shows we did for Harmony, and every one of them were extremely hard to do and hard to get through because we had so many people saying law enforcement doesn't care. They're never going to solve this. Manchester is just a shithole. These cops here don't do anything. Then we had some people saying, look, and this happens in every case, and it's okay in every case because we are cool with each other. We are friends, and we cannot get these cases out here if we're fighting amongst each other. A lot of people said, listen, I think an accident happened. They're both on drugs, they're negligent, they weren't paying attention, and with their pasts, they covered it up. And I always have the same argument. I'm like, but you don't cover up an accident. Even people like Teardrop and Step Meth aren't going to cover that up. Now we hear it is so much worse than we thought. We know in every one of these cases, when we follow it to the end, and this is not anywhere near the end, the chief said yesterday, they're not done. This is going to take a long, long time. But you guys are so awesome for sticking around and not just giving up and walking away saying nothing's ever going to happen with it. That means so much to me. And just going forward, keeping these cases out there for the children, for the people that can't speak for themselves. So, I'm going to take a deep breath real quick. And I'm going to go through some comments that you guys left yesterday after the press conference. Hang on. That music sounded different. How weird. Did that sound different to you guys? All right. Yesterday, Robin Smith said, at least this confirms Teardrop did it. With bioevidence, I was worried law enforcement would be happy with all the gun charges, meaning they can't piece it all together. They were just going to keep holding him for the gun charges. She said, I feel Step Meth has full knowledge of what, where, and how Harmony's life was taken. I do too. Let's take a poll. Hello, Chicky Nugget Mafia. Let's take a poll. Who thinks Step Meth told the police, and of course she would have gotten something out of this, so this is not a perfect situation by any means. It can't be a perfect situation because Harmony was murdered. But I mean, on the Step Meth front, we're just going to have to eat that. That's all there is to it. How many of you think that Step Meth finally told them what happened? Now, we still don't have Harmony, so I'm going to assume she really has no idea where he put Harmony. Pebbles, I believe she knew. Sarah, yep. Particularly the fourth charge against Teardrop, we'll get to here in a second. Saffron caught well, it would have only been a replay because I didn't go live. Saffron said, I wonder if Step Meth talked and she was the witness who had been intimidated, even though Teardrop was her ride or die. Yes, she was. They specifically name one Kayla Montgomery in charge number 4. Now hold your horses because I was a little upset yesterday and then I started doing some digging. All right. The first charge, from what I'm understanding, Marie, you might be able to help me with this. The first charge is second-degree murder. Teardrop could be out in 25 years. All the other charges together, given that a jury goes along or a deal is made, I think they have stacked it, and I believe there's more to come. I do believe there's more to come. I don't think this is it. When the chief said we have more work to do, I think there's more to come. I truly believe Teardrop will never see outside of cement block walls. He will never know a porcelain toilet. I truly believe he is going to be in jail for the rest of his life. But I also believe that his ride or die finally, either they caught her on a good day or they finally got her sobered up enough they could talk some sense into her. I don't know. I can't wait to see the charging documentation of how this went down. Celeste said, "This innocent and defenseless child was ignored and lost by the system. May God, who is good, rest little Harmony in his presence for eternity." God's got it. God's got her for over 2 years. God's had her since December 7th, 2019. Tell you who didn't have her: Crystal Sorey, Adam Montgomery, Kayla Montgomery. Every adult in little Harmony's life, when it's been 2 years. Uncle Kenny that started the GoFundMe, Teardrop's mom, Grandma Teardrop down in Florida, or I'm sorry, Grandpa Teardrop down in Florida. You're telling me in 2 years nobody asked for a current picture or asked what Harmony's been up to? COVID has nothing to do, and I understand a lot of kids got lost, and that's the parents' fault 100% during the pandemic. But the grandparents have nothing to do with that. Phones were still working. Cannot tell me. It's her birthday. It's Harmony's birthday. What does Harmony want for her birthday? Somebody besides Jameson had to notice that Harmony Montgomery had not been seen in 2 years. And they didn't. Either this is the most selfish clan of people, or they just didn't care about Harmony, or they believed what Adam was telling them. I don't know. Amy Katz said, "So happy that Harmony is getting justice." Yes, she is. She hasn't had it yet. She's going to get it. "Hopefully the prisoners know what this monster did to this baby. I wish this police chief was in charge of Summer's case. God bless these sweet angels." Me too. I also wish somebody in Summer's case, Quentin's case, Oakley's case, I could go on and on and on and on and on, would give them a credible tip and something to go on. I wonder what made Step Meth crack. What made her crack? Something had to make her crack. What could it be? I don't know. Something got to her, because when she first got arrested for the welfare fraud back in the winter of 2022, we're still in 2022 for a little bit. I can't believe the year's almost over. And she's still in jail, by the way. She is still in jail. She's still sitting there. Nothing scared her back in the spring or back in the winter of 2022. So when they even said to her, she only needed $5,000. $5,000's a lot of money, don't get me wrong. She only needed $5,000 to walk out of the jail. The tweet Brian Inton put up was, they could get part of this reward if they're told something to help in the case of Harmony Montgomery. Well, whatever she has told them as of recently would have definitely helped last spring. She didn't say a word. She sat there. She sat there. She finally got out, I think in May or June. Step Meth does what Step Meth does, and she screwed up again. Didn't show up to do her piss test. Didn't show up to court. She was holed up in some apartment, drugged out of her mind as usual. I'm just wondering if she finally said, yes, I'll take part of the reward. I'll tell you what he did. Or if it's we're going to go lighter on your sentence, or they confronted her with something that they found out that she can't worm her way out of. I don't know. I can't wait to see the charging documents. I'm totally just speculating. So we do have some people in here not familiar with the case. I'm going to do what we do. I'm going to rewind it. It is just a recap of what started the case of Harmony Montgomery. It doesn't 100% bring us up to speed. Then we're going to go through the press conference. The link is pinned. Don't be shy to come up at all and talk with me.
What happened to Harmony? Little Harmony Montgomery was last seen 2 years ago, but she was only reported missing for the first time just 2 weeks ago. In a dramatic development, police arrested her father, 31-year-old Adam Montgomery, for assaulting her. An arrest document says he once boasted, "I bashed her around this house," and gave her a black eye. Nancy Grace, host of Crime Stories on Fox Nation, is expressing outrage.
What? Nobody noticed she didn't come back to school? Even during pandemic, even on Zoom, you account for all the children. The school system never raised a red flag that she didn't show back up the next year. It's been 2 years.
Harmony comes from a troubled family. She was in foster care, but returned to her father in 2019, the year she was last seen. She has a 5-year-old brother, Jameson, who was put up for adoption and was lucky enough to be adopted by this man, TV reporter Blair Miller.
Does he miss Harmony?
We can think of examples where he's been at a park and he'll ask for his sister or see someone who reminds him of his sister. And you know, that's heartbreaking. It really is.
Do you love her?
Yep.
You do?
Yes.
This is heartbreaking video of little Jameson singing happy birthday to his sister, who he hasn't seen for 2 years.
Happy birthday to my sister. Happy birthday to you.
The blonde, blue-eyed tyke would now be 7 years old. Manchester, New Hampshire police are desperate for help finding her.
I'm imploring, I'm asking, even I'll go as far as I'm begging the community.
But the man who may know her fate isn't talking.
Somebody knows something. We just need that person to come forward.
All right. My microphone's off. Susan made it up. Jules is up here. I understand I had a little bit of an echo for a minute. I agree with Fed Up 100%. Jameson deserves the reward. By the way, when one Miss Crystal Sorey, when she finally gets around to filing her lawsuit against Child Protective Services of New Hampshire, if she wins it, I don't think she will because she failed Harmony too. Let's say she does. Jameson better get all that money. Susan, talk to me. How are you doing? I was very worried about you yesterday.
I'm doing better today. It was rough yesterday. I mean, we knew, but just the brutality, that poor baby, she never had a chance.
Never had a chance with any of them around there. Any of them. I mean, just like old Uncle Kenny, he comes out trying to be the hero. He did nothing when Teardrop was beating her around the house. Why didn't he grab little Harmony Montgomery that day, take her straight to the ER? You can't get arrested for taking a child to the ER. You can get arrested in big trouble if you just take a child home with you and say, I'm not going to let anything happen to this child. It's creepy and you can get in big trouble for it. No, you go to the ER.
Absolutely.
He had no problem putting up a GoFundMe and trying to act like the hero till he got shut down. And just like you were saying, Susan, I think it was show 2 we did for Harmony. You said that Kayla protected her children.
Yep. She sure as heck didn't protect Harmony.
That's right.
I am just so sick of this.
Books.
And you know it benefited her to tell them.
She didn't sit there on her bony ass
I'm gonna let
since all this time unless they had they finally found the sweet spot. How can we get her to talk? What did they say?
okay.
I think
I'll
it
just,
was, go ahead,
Go ahead.
Jules.
in my opinion, and I also saw a couple other people in the comments that agreed. They give Suboxone in jail.
In New Hampshire?
I think so.
Let's be sure. Let me look it up. Does anybody know, you guys that are local, does anybody know? Because I do know, I'm glad you brought this up. After the press conference, there wasn't a press conference. When she went back to jail, when the marshals went to that apartment, they arrested the guy for harboring a fugitive. The one old boy, he was going to get cigarettes and they threw him on the ground. They cuffed him. They pulled her out of the apartment. I believe it was the DA on the news that made a statement that, we have to get her sobered up. I think they believed the whole time that she knew way more than what she was saying. So go ahead, Jules.
So I'm saying if they do give her that in jail to help her, come off of her habit, her addiction, they could have taken that away from her until she talked.
Oh.
Is that legal though?
The
Wouldn't it
police
be
can do
legal?
whatever they want to.
Then why didn't they do it the first time?
I don't know. It's just a theory. Just thought I'd jump up here. I didn't know you were going to come up here, Susan.
Yeah, it's fine, honey. I don't know
I
how long I'll be up here.
I was worried about you, and so that's why I jumped up here.
I was upset.
Well, whatever they did, it finally worked because I mean, every show I said, look, they've even said you could get part of the reward. Now, not the whole 100. I can't remember what it was at the time. I mean, it was growing exponentially every day. I mean, when they first talked to Teardrop at his interrogation, said it's $40,000. They told him, you're telling me that no one's going to talk for 40 grand? The only person that knew was Kayla. That's the reason he was so, let's say, confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arrogant.
So then they're telling her, if you tell us what's going on, they probably flat out said to her,
we know
he did it. We know he did it. I wonder if they threatened her with some sort of accessory after the fact. She lived in that apartment too. Charges 3 and 4, charges 2 and 3. I'll put them on the screen in a second. Tell me that Harmony's deceased body had been tampered with. It had been moved from place to place, and it was in that apartment.
It had to be.
It had to. That's what tampering.
Living with the body. How your little girl?
Mm-hmm.
I hope she wants him. I hope she wants him.
Mm-hmm.
Just sick. Sick. Okay, I'm gonna jump down back in chat and mod.
All right.
Love you guys.
No hurry. And she's been away from Teardrop for a very long time. She filed for divorce in 2020. They had no communication with each other. Well, I don't know that she even talked to him when it hit the airwaves at the very end of December, early January, that Harmony was missing. I'm wondering if she reached out to him when she found out they finally know, because she was way away from him. They broke up. Yeah, they broke up after the apartment on Union Street, I believe. Go ahead, Susan.
Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering if they put pressure on Grandmeth after finding what they found in that apartment. And she might have slipped. And they came back to Kayla and told her what they knew. Because she was certain when that baby went missing.
Marie said, I heard he threatened her in jail. I'm sure he did. He's such a great guy. Amba said the last time they had communication with each other was January 4th. Now, is that of 2022 or 2021? Because I'm getting conflicting dates on when the last time she actually talked to him.
Maybe she means going through his father.
See, and I don't know. She said 2022. Let's look at the press conference real quick. I put it up yesterday. I've listened to it. I can't tell you how many times. We're going to go through it together, and I'm going to put the charges one by one up on the screen. So hold on. I got papers everywhere.
I'm sure.
If I have an echo, let me know.
Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm New Hampshire Attorney General John Formella, and I'm joined here today by Manchester Police Chief Alan Aldenberg and the team from the Manchester Police Department and members of my office. We're here today to provide a further update regarding the ongoing investigation into the 2019 murder of Harmony Montgomery. As you'll recall, back in January, we announced that 5-year-old Harmony likely disappeared sometime between November 28th and December 10th of 2019. In August of this year, after almost 8 months of investigative work undertaken by the Manchester Police Department, the Attorney General's Office, the U.S. Marshals Service, the FBI, and other law enforcement partners, we announced that we had concluded that 5-year-old Harmony was murdered in Manchester in early December of 2019. This conclusion was based on multiple sources of investigative information, including biological evidence. Since August, the Manchester Police Department, the Attorney General's Office, and our other law enforcement partners have continued to investigate this case in an effort to seek answers and justice for Harmony. Today, we are announcing another major step in this investigation. Earlier this morning, Adam Montgomery was arrested for the murder of Harmony Montgomery in 2019 and other related charges. Specifically, Mr. Montgomery has been charged with the following 4 crimes. Second-degree murder for recklessly causing the death of Harmony Montgomery, a person under 13 years of age, under circumstances manifesting an extreme indifference to the value of human life, by repeatedly striking Harmony in the head with a closed fist in Manchester on or about December 7, 2019. Falsifying physical evidence for purposely altering, destroying, concealing, or removing the body of Harmony Montgomery with a purpose to impair its verity or availability in an official proceeding or investigation in Manchester between approximately December 7th, 2019 and March 4th, 2020. Abuse of corpse for purposefully and unlawfully removing, concealing, or destroying the corpse of Harmony Montgomery or any part thereof in Manchester between approximately December 7th, 2019 and March 4th, 2020. And tampering with witnesses or informants for purposely attempting to induce or otherwise cause Kayla Montgomery to testify or inform falsely in Manchester between approximately December 7th, 2019 and January 4th, 2022. Mr. Montgomery is expected to be arraigned on these charges in Hillsborough County Superior Court, Northern District in Manchester tomorrow, October 25th, 2022. While today's arrest is a major step in this investigation, there is much work to come. The charges and allegations against Adam Montgomery are merely accusations, and he is presumed innocent until proven guilty. That said, today I do want to again express my deepest sympathies to Harmony's family, friends, and loved ones. We understand that today's news, while significant for purposes of this investigation, is yet another difficult moment for those who loved Harmony and those who have followed this case. Our hearts go out especially to Harmony's family. My office will continue to provide whatever assistance we can through our Office of Victim Witness Assistance as they deal with these difficult moments. In a moment, I'm going to turn it over to Manchester Police Chief Alan Aldenberg, but once again, before I do, I want to extend my sincere thanks to the Chief and the entire team at the Manchester Police Department for the time and dedication and professionalism that they put into this case and their relentless pursuit for justice on behalf of Harmony and those who knew and loved her. Chief.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. I'm Adam Montgomery, the Chief of Police for the Manchester Police Department. This morning at approximately 10:30 a.m., Adam Montgomery was transported to the Manchester Police Department. He was booked in on the charges of second-degree murder, falsifying physical evidence, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with a witness. The booking process was completed without incident, and he was then transported back to the Hillsborough County House of Correction. Although we were all pleased that we were able to bring forth these charges, they are of no solace to myself, the detectives behind me, who have worked tirelessly on this investigation, and more importantly, they bring no solace to the loved ones of Harmony Montgomery and her family and friends. Again, I want to take a moment to publicly thank the detectives and the Attorney General's office for their unwavering commitment and devotion to this investigation. Specifically behind me, in no particular order, Captain Sean Layton, Captain Matt LaRochelle, Detective Jack Dunleavy, Detective Scott Riley, Detective Max Rayhill, Deputy U.S. Marshal Billy Tufts, a couple more in the back of the room, Lieutenant Georgioulis, Detective Davenport, and Detective Coswick as well. Many people have sought justice for Harmony, and they are unmatched in their tenacity and their professionalism. Every single one of you has been the voice of Harmony in seeking justice for her. Said I wasn't going to do it. That's been your single motivation and number one priority for the past 10 months. I also want to thank your families who've also had to endure the long hours, missed family events, and all the sadness that this investigation has brought. As I have before, I want to personally acknowledge Senior Assistant Attorney General Jesse O'Neill and Benegatti. These two gentlemen are steady, professional, passionate, and the ultimate pursuers of justice for Harmony. I'm certain that the charges that we have brought forward today will garner additional discussion, speculation, and undoubtedly will elicit a wide range of emotions from the public. I ask that in memory of Harmony, that we all make every effort to do something nice for a child today. I know of no other way. I know of no other way to respect and honor this innocent and defenseless child than to extend an act of kindness to another child in our memory. Just take a few moments out of your day to say something nice to a child. Give him or her a hug, some special words of encouragement. Give them an extra hug, or just simply tell them that you love them and that you always protect them. I want to emphasize that our work is not finished and that the gentleman with me today will not stop until this case is brought to the appropriate resolution. As always, I encourage members of the public to continue to use the dedicated tip line should they have any information at all that would assist us in the investigation. Again, that dedicated tip line is 603-203-6060. I'll say it again. That number is 603-203-6060, and that phone line is manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Again, thank you all for being here today. I'll now hand it back to the Attorney General for some closing comments. General.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you again to you and your team for all of the work that you put into this case and for the work yet to come. We have a lot of work ahead, but we will continue our work to seek justice for Harmony and all those who loved her. Before I close, I do want to acknowledge the work of our team at the Attorney General's office, especially Senior Assistant Attorney General Jesse O'Neill, who's been on this case from the beginning, and Senior Assistant Attorney General and Homicide Unit Chief Ben Agagali. Both have worked closely and tirelessly with Chief Aldenberg and the Manchester Police Department in this investigation. And again, there's much more work to come. As to any further specifics or questions about the nature of evidence in this case, due to the fact that we now have pending charges against Mr. Montgomery, we're unable to make further comments at this time. Additional information will be made available through court filings and in court proceedings as the case moves forward. Thank you for your time.
All right. So what I gather from the very end is they're not going to have any more press conferences. He said everything's going to be through documents and court filings. A-okay by me, because I want to see it all listed out. I want to see the details. I want to see what they did, how they got her to talk, what she said. And I really want to know why it took from January to October. What do you think, Susan?
I'm in agreement with you. I want to see it laid out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I do too. It's just too coincidental that her name, of all names, pops up.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder what they offered her or what they found out that they threatened her with to get her to talk. Also, he mentioned the tip line again. They're not done looking for Harmony. They still want to find Harmony. I did get a couple of comments yesterday that said, well, now they're just not going to go look for her. No, they are. They are. It's not going to be, to our satisfaction because it's been a very long time. It's been a very long time.
And I'm wondering if maybe he did take her down by Crystal and bury her.
He could have. I just keep thinking that they're going to find some cell phone ping after they left that apartment. He had to have gone somewhere that would have pinged somewhere that's out of his normal routine. He's more of a, I'm going to pick up a 12-pack and a pack of smokes type of dude. So if he's taking a leisurely drive one day in the spring of 2020, that might be where they should be looking. I don't know. I mean, I believe 100%, particularly since, since the FBI said it, that they have biological evidence to tell them she's no longer alive. That's when they said it's now a murder investigation. Now, that was a couple of months ago. So, whatever odd behavior he had after they left that apartment, they're going to find her somewhere around there. I don't know. That's just my guess. But he did put the tip line up again. I've got it at the bottom of the screen because they still want to find Harmony. There's no getting around it. They still do. I get
needs to be laid to rest.
She deserves at least that, doesn't she?
Yeah.
In the life that she had, she deserves at least that. I did see a question in chat. Why wasn't she adopted along with Jameson? If you can answer that, Susan.
He claimed rights on her Jameson was already adopted, but she hadn't been. And he didn't sign over his rights. He wanted her. So he said.
Well, and Jameson has a different father. Jameson's father didn't care if he got adopted.
Okay.
But Teardrop, when he heard that she was also going to be adopted, he decided to get involved. Well, it's the worst. It's
Decided
the worst.
to use it for benefits.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know a grifter when I see one.
Yes, you do. Michelle Mouse. That is such a cool name, by the way. Beautiful avatar, Michelle Mouse. Love your hair. She says, yeah, Adam wouldn't allow it. That's what happened. So this is charge 1 up on the screen. You can see. Now, if I am wrong about any of the research I've done for each of these charges, you guys that are local to New Hampshire, let me know. Second-degree murder for recklessly causing the death of Harmony Montgomery. In the true crime community, we are never satisfied, guys. And I am the worst one. A lot of people said, why no death penalty? I looked. New Hampshire has not used the death penalty in a very, 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 very long time. Capital murder, murder 1, they have to have a body. Now, if I'm wrong about that, and I read that wrong, but second-degree murder is what they have. Second-degree murder for recklessly causing the death of Harmony Montgomery, a person under 13 years of age, which will weigh more heavily, under circumstances manifesting an extreme indifference to the value of human life, by repeated striking Harmony Montgomery in the head with a closed fist in Manchester on or about December 7th, 2019. So on the screen is charge 1.
Yeah. And I think probably Casey Anthony has something to do with that. They don't want to overcharge. Don't want him walking.
Yeah. Jeff Ashcroft screwed up Kaylee Anthony's justice in so many ways. I mean, her mother certainly was no help.
Yeah.
Kaylee Anthony has actually saved a lot of children in the fact that there's actually, when it involves a child, I couldn't believe this. I had to see it for myself. The jury intake form, it has been used, especially in Florida. Are you familiar with the case of Kaylee Anthony? They don't want people coming in there with already a biased opinion. You want them unbiased as possible. Anyway, so second degree, I truly believe, I don't have any proof, but I truly believe Teardrop will spend the rest of his life in jail. What do you think, Susan?
I hope so. But anything shocks me anymore. Not anything. I guess nothing shocks me.
Mm-hmm.
I hope she's haunting him.
Oh, I do.
I hope she's seeing her eyes, her pleading little face every night. Every night. And I hope it tears him up. If he has a soul. I hate him.
Jesse said that's why they're being so careful with the Quentin case. They don't want her walking on a technicality like Casey. Exactly. And stupid. I can't really say that the jury was stupid in the Casey Anthony trial. I really can't. Jeff Ashcroft was, though. He forgot the law, and he's a lawyer.
He got overconfident.
And
it made perfect sense, but he had no proof. And there was reasonable doubt, and he left that door open ajar. And he walked right through it.
He left it wide open. Wide open. All right. Charge 2. falsifying physical evidence for purposely altering, destroying, concealing, or removing the body of Harmony Montgomery with a purpose to impair its verity or availability in official proceeding or investigation. He hid the body. He hid Harmony in Manchester between December 7th and March 4th. December 7th, 2019, March 4th, 2020. We go back to the apartment on Union Street where they were taking sheetrock out. They were crowbarring up the floor. They took out the famous pictures we have of the refrigerator right there on the screen.
No, I just can't imagine.
At some point after her murder, December 7th, 2019, on or about, as they said, she was transported December, January, February, March, April. Oh, I went too far. For 3 months, roughly, moving her body around so he could not be caught.
Disgusting. Can you imagine living with that? And
I'd
Kayla was there.
like to ask Kayla.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask Kayla.
Ugh. I just can't. It's not bad enough that what he did, and you can't put it to rest. Ugh.
I'd love to ask Kayla. Kayla, you were living in an apartment
With a corpse.
with him and with Harmony's deceased body. I've heard about the trunk, yet no car's been impounded.
Yeah.
Oh, let's look at that clip real quick so we can remind ourselves.
Harmony Montgomery say they now have evidence which suggests that the 5-year-old girl was murdered back in 2019. Christina Rex has the latest from Manchester.
This is the last place where investigators did a big search. It's the Union Street apartment here in Manchester, where Harmony's father and his wife once lived. And now investigators say because of evidence they discovered, any hope that Harmony may be found alive is lost. Fighting back tears, the Manchester police chief delivers tragic news in the case that has gripped his city, the state, and the country.
Harmony is a sweet and innocent child who deserved to be brought home to her family and friends.
A dream that is no longer possible because of what investigators call biological evidence they've recently confirmed.
All of these efforts have led us to conclude that Harmony Montgomery was murdered in Manchester in early December of 2019.
Police have searched.
Okay, I'm so glad that we're listening to this clip. The Attorney General just said, hang on one second. I got to hear that again.
All of these efforts have led us to conclude that Harmony Montgomery was murdered in Manchester in early December of 2019.
Okay, so he said this at the news conference. It was in August, mid-August. So when did Kayla talk? When did they get this early December? Because it's after this that she stopped doing her piss tests. She didn't go to court and she got arrested. So they had this date, early December 2019, when they did this press conference on August 11th.
Interesting.
Man, let's see. Okay, Kayla's still in jail. Remember that. Kayla's still in jail.
Police have searched multiple previous homes, hoping to find evidence that would lead them to Harmony. Most recently, they were seen bringing in and removing a refrigerator from this Union Street apartment where Harmony's father and his wife once lived.
At this point, while Harmony's remains have not yet been located, we do have multiple sources of investigative information including just recently confirmed biological evidence that have led us to this difficult and tragic conclusion.
Adam Montgomery is currently in jail for allegedly assaulting Harmony and for unrelated gun charges. He had custody of the little girl when she disappeared in 2019, but she wasn't reported missing for 2 years. Nobody has been charged with her murder, and investigators say there are still people they know have information that have yet to come forward.
Do it for this little girl who's on this screen. The time is now. Time to step up and do the right thing.
And you can see here, people are still leaving flowers in memory of Harmony in this area where she once lived. And police are still asking for the public's help. If you have any information that could help them, you're asked to call the tip line. The number's there on your.
Absolutely horrific. Horrific, horrific, horrific. He had her deceased little body in that apartment. Okay, so that brings us to charge 3. Charge 3 on the screen. Abuse of a corpse for purposely and unlawfully removing, concealing, or destroying the corpse of Harmony Montgomery or any part thereof. This brings me back to Kayla had to have told him something or someone, because Kayla's still in jail. I need to not forget that. Because they don't have Harmony's body.
No, they don't.
Tiffany Crockett said, "Sleep well, sweet girl. You've been through enough." Yes, she has.
Yep.
So I'm going to look at charge 2 again in correlation with 3. Charge 2, falsifying physical evidence for purposely altering, destroying, concealing, or removing. And then, so it's 2 separate charges for tampering with, moving, concealing, hiding Harmony. Biddy Bite said, must be Kayla. Kayla's still in jail. I would love to know who talked, what they said. These documents are going to be available in a couple of days, and I can't wait to see them. Not like it's entertainment for me or anything. I just want to see the work that they have been putting forth and are still continuing to for little Harmony Montgomery. We get to charge 4 on the screen. Tampering with witnesses or informants for purposely attempting to induce or otherwise cause Kayla Montgomery to testify or inform falsely. So he tried to get her to lie.
Or he put somebody else up to threatening her.
Could be.
Huh.
Because now she got in trouble, one of her something that she's hung up with for perjury for lying to a grand jury.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is tampering with witnesses or informants for purposely attempting to induce or otherwise cause Kayla Montgomery to testify or inform falsely in Manchester between December 7th, 2019 and January 4th. There must have been a lot of messages between him and her. You better not say anything about Harmony.
That would be my guess.
Sorry, go ahead.
That would be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
But he already told him that she wasn't. So why would he threaten her?
I think he gave her a lot of subtle reminders.
Mm-hmm.
You're in this with me. Then you hear her speaking to his father,
Mm-hmm.
Grandpa Teardrop, down in Florida. She's acting very like this is everyday conversation. She's not a very bright light. We know that. Like it's everyday conversation. Harmony is never brought up. Never brought up. I would love to know what Grandpa Teardrop is thinking now.
Yeah. I for the life of me, I don't understand any of these grandparents. You don't question them. You don't ask for photos. You don't send them birthday cards, Christmas cards, Halloween, Thanksgiving, nothing. Nothing. No. I don't get it.
No. She was talking to her father-in-law. Now, mind you, she's already away from him. He had
Mhm.
another girlfriend, Kelsey Smalls, who, by the way, has also passed away. I've heard that it was confirmed it was a drug overdose in a motel in March of this year, 2022. He
Mhm.
was living in the car with Kelsey when the police came to him to ask where Harmony was. So these two have already split the sheets. Yet she's talking to Teardrop Sr., a recorded jail phone call back in the spring. I'm his ride or die. I love him. I'm not going anywhere. Can you let him know that? As she's sitting in jail getting ready to go back and use the money that Teardrop Sr., do not forget, Adam's father, was putting money on her books, and I believe it was to keep her shut up.
I think so too. I think he knew exactly what happened. I'm at a loss of words with these people.
So she gets to have her beefaroni. She gets to have a Diet Pepsi every now and then because Teardrop Sr. is keeping money on her books, all right? Can you let Adam know? I'm not going anywhere. I love him. As she's sitting in jail and had already been offered, hey, you can get part of this reward money if you just tell us something that's going to help us. They weren't even asking for the whole enchilada. Can you just get us on the right trail?
She couldn't be bothered. Her kids are safe. She knows what he's capable of.
Mm-hmm. Makes you wonder, though, as a human being, as a mother, as a woman, as just a person, man, woman, whatever. What could be held over your head? What kind of fear could be instilled in you to keep quiet for over 2 years and buck the pressure that law enforcement is putting on you to tell the truth, and you still sit there tight-lipped? What could be hanging over your head? It wasn't the welfare fraud. She got hung up for that. She lied to a grand jury. What was the hold? They were broke up. He was living with another woman in the car. When his slumber was disrupted in that parking lot, he was with Kelsey Smalls at the time. What was it? I don't believe she was part of the murder, but I have a feeling she might be very well complicit in the transportation, hiding, concealing, not the tampering part. They might have let her off on that to talk. What do you think?
I agree with you. She had to, at the very least, be complicit in that. And I'd be interested in seeing what charges she's facing, if any.
Right. As of today, she's still just sitting out her
Mm-hmm. Gun
cell.
charges.
Well, because she has, what is it, gun charges,
Mm-hmm.
perjury to the grand jury. You can forget the welfare fraud. She's already served her time for that. They can keep bringing that up. That's something that, I mean, Happy said maybe she was scared of him because she knew what he did to Harmony. Well, I'm thinking that too. Of course, I don't live in this world. My brain does not compute. the way theirs do. But when her kids are with her mom, Adam has moved on. He's living in the car with another woman. She's gone about her life. So she wasn't worried when she up and said, I've had it with you, Teardrop. I'm taking my backpack and I'm moving to another car.
Oh, God, leave it to you. I love you, George.
I'm just trying to put myself in this argument, Susan. How do people like this break up?
I needed that laugh.
I'm not part of this argument. I'm just trying to figure out how the two would split the sheets or the seatbelt, whatever you want to say. I'm going to another car. I don't need your bullshit, Teardrop. So she left him. He wasn't intimidated then. What intimidated her when it hit the airwaves, it hit the internet, it hit her, phone, that Harmony Montgomery, the cat's out of the bag. Everyone knows Harmony's missing. Something intimidated her then, definitely, because she sat in jail and didn't say a word.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
If it was battered women syndrome, then she would have been in the car with him. When they went and knocked on the window, hey, Adam, can you tell us where Harmony's at? She wasn't in the car with him. Kelsey was. I don't know. We'll find out. I can't wait for those documents to come out.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing to me the work that Manchester police have put into this with no body. And let's face it, 2 years. They always say the first 48 hours is the most important.
Yeah.
They were 2 years behind. They've got it down to December 7th, on or about. We know what that means. This is not our first rodeo. On or about. That he, with a closed fist, beat her in the head. That can only come from Kayla.
Yeah. She was the only one there.
Yep, I think she talked. I definitely think she talked. For a lesser sentence. A lesser.
She would have had to.
Go ahead, what?
I was just saying she would have had to. Who else is going to talk?
Nobody else was there.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody else was there. Jim and I said Kevin witnessed abuse. Kevin did, and Kevin did the wrong thing. Kevin was more worried about, his part of the utility bills. Now, a call was made to DCYF. I think that's what it's called in New Hampshire. Yeah. By the time the call was made to them and they got there,
she was healed up.
Nothing was going on. Kevin is the one that told the Daily Mail. I believe he was paid $500 for that interview.
Of course he was.
I could be wrong. It could be $450. I don't remember what the going rate was at the time. That she was made to clean the toilets with a toothbrush.
Oh, disgusting piece of crap. Oh.
But I'm going back to charge 4 again, and it is not the most important charge. Well, they're all important. Kate said, who is Kevin? Uncle Kevin, Kevin Montgomery. He is Adam's uncle. He should have taken her to the emergency room, not started a GoFundMe, and got on Ashley Banfield and looked like an idiot. Because he looked like a total idiot, is what he looked like. Ashley Banfield wasn't having any of his BS. So I'm going back to charge 4, and I'm just pretty much convinced by the way they say December 7th. They don't say on or about on that one, do they? There's no on or about. Just 2019 and January 4th, 2022. They say they say the name is on there. It doesn't say step meth. They don't watch our show. They actually have Kayla Montgomery attempting to induce or otherwise cause Kayla Montgomery to testify or inform falsely. He threatened her, so she better lie. Gotta be kidding me.
And I'm wondering how that judge is feeling right about now.
Oh, he's a piece of work. Yeah, when
Mhm.
they caught him going in his driveway and they were asking him, "How do you feel now? How do you feel
Mm.
now that you ignored the social worker's recommendations and you gave her to teardrop? How do you feel now?" He just ran his fat little chubby ass into the house. He didn't
Yes, he did.
stop. He didn't even say boo.
Makes my blood boil.
Kate says, "Do you think this can help with Quentin's case if they don't find his body as far as arresting Leilani?" Absolutely. Circumstantial cases are beyond impossible for these guys to prove because, well, juries are very hard to convince.
You
I mean,
only need one.
yeah, you just need one person on that jury to say, "No, you didn't prove it to me." The reasonable doubt is the big thing. The reasonable doubt is the big thing. In this case, I believe that it's not so much the circumstantial. I have a feeling Kayla's going to be state's witness. I have a feeling step meth is their state's witness. That when this comes down to it and he goes to trial, unless he takes a deal, I don't see that attorney general or that DA wanting to offer him anything less than the rest of his natural life in prison.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Nope. So unless he accepts what they have to offer, which is, "You're ours, bitch. You're going to be with us for a long time."
No.
But of course, he has attorneys that are fighting everything. You can't use what's on his cell phone. You can't use any of the statements that he made because he didn't want to talk to you. Remember? Teardrop didn't want to talk to the cops. That's what they said. That was not voluntary statements. He was being badgered.
Did he ask for a lawyer at that point?
At the end of the interrogation, he did.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say anything anyway. He didn't say anything anyway. All he said was, "You guys are just playing word games with me." That's all he said.
What a narcissist.
Mm-hmm. He's disgusting.
Has the judge ruled on that yet?
Nope. And I think it's going to be really hard for the judge to say, throw that out when he hears
What happened?
that he's got second-degree murder charges on him. And let's also not forget that they spell it out that he beat her in the head with a closed fist. And we also have the huge looming problem of an interstate compact that never took place. So when CPS gave Harmony to Adam and he left Massachusetts and he went to New Hampshire, nobody was aware. There was no follow-up checkup. They didn't know he left the state. They didn't know where he was.
Well, we first heard
All right, I'm going to put this on real quick where they get this idiot out of the car. This is the police body cam. This is one of the things that they want thrown out. I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to matter at this point if Kayla's talking.
just audio of these recordings during a hearing for Montgomery last week, but News 9 has requested the full video of these interactions. Now, this video was taken
31st, 2021. That's the day Manchester police first announced a missing persons investigation for Harmony. It shows officers locating Adam Montgomery in a parked car in Wolf Park in Manchester. In the body cam video, officers ask Montgomery about his daughter's whereabouts, to which Montgomery replies with, "I have nothing to say." The interaction lasts about 45 minutes before Montgomery.
I actually do like that picture. Okay. So we have like the case of, well, like right now with Leilani, people are saying she's a flight risk. She's a flight risk. Okay, he was, he has a car. He's living in the car. They followed him all over Manchester. He couldn't get a moment's sleep in the car. I mean, they followed him. They kept an eye on him all day. That's part of what his attorney is arguing. They badgered him. They harassed him. Well, no, they kept an eye on him. They were keeping an eye on him.
Good.
So what exactly do they want to throw out? All he kept saying was, "You guys leave me alone. You guys leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. She's with her mother. She's with her mother." That's all he kept saying. What are they throwing out exactly? Except
With her mother.
on his cell phone.
No, I don't know. He is. Oh. It has to be the phone.
The phone is definitely part of it. I've gone through his interrogation, these different clips of the body cam. Not that I'm a legal. Nothing sticking out to my dumb ass that is, such a big deal that he said.
Yeah.
He is sent on his way. Police again track him down later that same day and serve him with a court order that forces Montgomery to provide information about his daughter's whereabouts.
You just need to find out where she is. That's all I'm concerned about. You're not in any trouble right now that I know of. Okay. You have no warrants. Okay. So, where's your daughter so we can check on her to make sure that she's okay? Right now, I have nothing to say to you guys. But that's not what I'm just asking where she is. I have nothing to say.
Now, all of this evidence was the subject of a hearing last week in which lawyers for Montgomery asked a judge to suppress his statements in these videos. His lawyers stressed that he repeatedly told police he did not want to speak with him, but that detectives continued to question him, violating his rights. Montgomery is facing charges for allegedly abusing his daughter, Harmony.
I didn't hear a lawyer.
No, that wasn't until your interrogation. And in the interrogation, he didn't say anything anyway. Let me tell you what, with these parents, teardrop, I'm gonna take a stretch, okay? And say Leilani. I know she hasn't been charged yet. Casey Anthony, that name comes up a lot. Megan Boswell. When they say that the other parent, who isn't even in the picture, by the way, isn't even in the picture, has the child in question, you know that child is gone and it wasn't an accident. What you got, Trevor?
Shoo! There's a lot.
Take in, my friend. It's a lot to take in.
Deep breaths.
Man. Seeing the video of Leilani yesterday and then this news coming out on the same day, it's all just like
a lot.
I know. We'll buckle up because we're going to be back at noon talking about Leilani and Bubba. So are you impressed, Trevor? I'm asking Susan as well. Everybody in chat. I almost said I'm going in alphabetical order, but S comes before T. So let's go ahead and start with Susan. Are you impressed with the job, the almost impossible job that New Hampshire police have put forward, Manchester police, in getting to this point with Harmony?
Yes, I am very impressed, but it's coming from the top down.
Oh, you went there.
Yes. I did.
Not every case does the attorney general of your state get involved with. I think some things need to happen in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
If we look at the case of Serenity McKinney, the attorney general jumped right on it. And guess what? We had some amazing police work get done real damn fast. What do you think, Trevor?
I agree. And in both cases, in those cases where you have that come in and suddenly law enforcement is 10 times more on it and putting everything towards it, because top of the food chain's looking over their shoulder the whole time. Whereas down here, it's like, do it and we hope you're doing it right.
Well, with your petition going around right now that I'm sure by now has caught the attention of one Sheriff Ronnie Lawson, I have a feeling things are going to get moving in the right direction for summer, I hope. But when you get the top cop in your state, if we look at the Delphi case, Doug Carter has been over this the whole time. Now, some people, of course, were not happy because no one's been charged in the murders, but he's on it. There's every time I hear there's an update in Delphi, I instantly shit. I just do. So when you have the Attorney General, I'm just going to go ahead and say, when you're the top cop in your state and there's a child missing in your state that doesn't pop up, that they don't find in 24, 48 hours, a week, 2, whatever, you know what I'm saying? You know the timeline I'm looking at. The Attorney General needs to get on it.
That should be standard. I don't know why it's not.
It should be.
These are the most, I mean, if you look at it, what cases are more important at that time or more urgent?
I can't think of one.
Mm-mm.
So what is he doing? He or she, what are they doing?
That's their job. They are the Attorney General of the state.
And they know as well as we do that if they step in, things change. I mean, they're not naive to it. They know if they come in and look over any department, whether big or small, shoulder in this, things get moving.
And you can't cut out the publicity. You got to take that into consideration. It's gotten a lot of press.
Mm-hmm. The media definitely helps too. When the media is on board and they are reporting. So WMUR, thank you from Harmony's Army for covering her case with dignity, keeping it in the public eye, and using the U.S. Constitution, freedom of the press. You
Amen.
did not try to cover up the terrible mishandling of her case by CPS, even in your own state. Now, there is a couple of media outlets, not in New Hampshire, not in Massachusetts, because they did too. I shouldn't just give all the credit to WMUR. There are a few that have turned their backs to missing children in their area. I'm going to save that for another show, but their initials are WJHL in Rogersville Review in East Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The press is so important in this country, and it is more powerful than a bullet when used properly. So's your vote. Don't forget, we have to vote soon.
Absolutely.
So they pulled out all the stops, and here we are. Here we are. I don't think Teardrop will ever see the light of day. Step Meth will eventually be out of jail, probably. Hopefully she stays off drugs, right? We don't,
Mm-hmm.
It sucks that she has a second chance at a good life when Harmony never did, but that's some of these things we have to get justice, we have to eat a bitter pill.
Yeah. I don't think they'll turn her loose just for that fact. They need her as a witness.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're going to have to keep an eye on her. Kayla's going to be well taken care of. She's going to be they're going to have to do something with her because they have to have her.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. They have to have her. I really believe, I have nothing to prove it. I have no articles. I have nothing like that. I do believe that she is the state's witness. But I think this has been a lot all at once. I know that it's upsetting. And I'm just really, really glad that, all of you that are in here have followed this. It's not the end, but you know what I mean. He is charged without a body. He is charged without a body. Strong charges. I believe they're going to hold. They were not in a hurry. They didn't just go and slam murder charges on him back in January, as some people demanded. Doesn't work that way. But just that you guys are just, I mean, I say it on every show, but it really is the truth that, you guys would hang in. I mean, a lot of people went away. They're like, the police aren't doing anything. The cops aren't doing anything. We stick together, my friends. We do stick together.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
All right. Well, I'm going to start winding it down, my friends, and I'm going to be back here in an hour and a half. Talk about a very, very new case. Of course, Quentin Simon, that people are pissed about because there's no charges and there's no arrest. Could you imagine? And I'm asking Susan this particularly because this case really, really got to her, guys. I don't want to embarrass Susan, but it really got to her. Could you imagine, Susan, if we had to do a show, if we were doing this show today, and we were on here saying that Adam Montgomery was going to walk his scrawny ass out of that jail because they were in too much of a hurry in January of 2022, and now it's all done. It's over.
I'd come unglued. I would come unglued. Let them take their time before they arrest her and charge her, because the clock starts when they arrest her. They need all the evidence they can find.
Yeah. Just imagine how mad we would all be if, yes, we got our way back in January and they slapped those murder charges on him.
Yeah.
And we came in today and they didn't have what they needed. And now he's free.
Yeah. To do it to somebody else. Because we know destruction follows him.
Mm-hmm. And now he's living in a car with another woman who, by the way, has kids.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
No. Yeah. Are you trying to get me mad?
We haven't made Susan gets mad on every show we do for Harmony, and today there's just no jar in her.
I'm numb.
All right, we'll have to get you woken up because we got to be back here in an hour and a half. We're going to talk about Bubba Moss. He has spoken out about the disappearance of his son, Quentin Simon. Yes, they have different last names. I'm going to cover that. And we're going to speak about Leilani has finally opened her trap. It's good for nothing, but we're still going to talk about it. So you guys have a nice lunch, whatever you have going on for the next hour and a half. Trevor, come back and join us. We love having you on panel.
Absolutely.
All right, Susan, I know Susan's going to be back. All of you, come on back. Come on back. We'll be back in an hour and a half. And in the meantime, justice for Harmony. Justice for Harmony.
Absolutely.
All right. See you guys back here in a little bit. Have a great afternoon. You are, well, I say a great afternoon, a great hour and a half. Thanks for sticking around. Keeping it going. The momentum for Harmony Montgomery. You are the best. Bye-bye.